Good morning, minions, and welcome to this week's instalment of No More Mr. Fat Guy TV. Now, before we get started on anything else, just a few sort of newsy, sort of housekeeping type items. Today is December the 6th. The way that I think it's going to work out is that there will be another one of these next week. That'll be December 13th. I believe the following Friday I will probably be travelling to the UK. And that'll be the start of basically just over a month's break. So make the most of these episodes over the next couple of weeks, and then you'll have a month to basically go back through and look at the back catalogue and catch up with the stuff that you should have watched by now. The other news type stuff, the website is currently being changed. I'm hoping it's going to make things a bit easier for people to find stuff, particularly people that are new, but even I struggle to find things sometimes when I'm trying to dig out an article for somebody. So I'm going to bring in a new sort of start here type information page, just to give a quick breakdown of what you can find under different menu options. Maybe sort of pull out some links to some of the key sort of blog articles, the key points during the sort of the journey so far. So hopefully that'll be up online fairly quickly. We also just want to mention a couple of things really. As of last night, I think Believe in Blaze, the Facebook page for Blaze Wyatt, was probably about 10 likes away from 2,500. So if you're watching this now, and even if it's already past the 2,500 by the time you watch this, just go to the basically go to Facebook, do a search on Believe in Blaze, or find a link somewhere on my web page or somewhere on my Facebook page, and go and like that, because it's a story that's well worth following. It's a young lad that is going through so much. It's about the same age as my boy, and he's unbelievable what he goes through. Unbelievable the strength and determination that he must have in order to go through the therapy that he does. It's just well worth going there, giving your support to Blaze and his family, and obviously if you can spare a few dollars, then look out for the People Pledge link for Rogue Runners Club Australia, which is another page that you should probably check out. A bunch of guys that this year, the financial year 2013-14, are running for Blaze. Good bunch of guys that put basically running for others at the heart of everything they do. Now, just on a similar sort of vein, really, please check out the Heart Foundation fundraiser that I've got set up. Again, the links will be on the page on the website. We're currently aiming to raise $10,000 on the way to London Marathon. It's an excellent cause. I mean, most people tend to think of the Heart Foundation as providing funds to, I guess, for treatment for people that have suffered. But a lot of the work is about prevention and encouraging people, and advertising and marketing, so that people can make lifestyle changes and basically save a whole bunch of costs on healthcare. The cost, massive costs and strain on health systems, and basically the Heart Foundation want us to all be a bit fitter, a bit healthier, and have a leaner, fitter, longer living, happier society, I guess. So please check that out. And one final thing will be look out for more information about the Run Down Under. Basically, Run Down Under is something that is basically a virtual run around Australia that's going to be taking place throughout the whole of 2014. So from the 1st of January 2014 all the way through to the 31st of December. Basically, it'll be it's a great way. It's a fun way. You basically, when you go out for a run or a walk, whether it's part of training, whether it's part of an event, whether it's just casual, whether it's part of some sort of formal regime that you have, whenever you log some kilometres or miles, basically you can add those into the Run Down Under, and basically it'll track you on a virtual tour around the whole of Australia. Now there is a cost. I think it works out about just under $1 a week over the course of the year. In return for that, you actually get a Run Down Under t-shirt, Run Down Under hat, and along the way, as you get to various places around Australia, as you get through, I think it's like the capital cities, you will actually get small mementos sent to you by the corporate challenge team. So it's it's good fun. It's an interesting, it's a novel way of basically logging the distances that you've walked and run. Having done that certainly with the rowing machine and more recently with the running, it is actually to start with, it doesn't necessarily seem that amazing. You sort of put in a few kilometres at a time, and it's not amounting to much. But then when you actually look back, a few months down the track, and if you're seeing that you've gone from you've got to Canberra or something, then that adds something else to it, just an extra layer. So it's a bit of fun. There is that small cost, but if you sign up underneath the club name No More Mr. Fat Guy, once we get over, I think it's 20 members of that club, basically $10 of every sign up will be coming back to me, which will mean it'll be going into the Heart Foundation fundraiser. So it's yet another way that you can just add some sort of giving back element to your running and your walking. So that's all good stuff. Now this week, I just say every week I kind of have a think about what I might want to talk about, and maybe sometimes that's guided by some of the things that you're talking about on the Facebook page, and sometimes it might just be something that's burning away inside me. And I realised this week that we've spoken a lot about changes, and we've spoken a lot about the impacts that taking up running or just fitness generally can have on your life, and some of the amazing benefits and some of the positive impacts and the positive changes that can bring about. It kind of just dawned on me that we've never really spoken about the dark side, and there is a dark side. There are issues and challenges, and certainly there are sort of things that you probably need to be warned about. There are probably things that that when you first set out on the journey, you don't realise are going to happen. And until that, and when they do happen, sometimes they can take you by surprise. So I thought I'd do a little piece in the video this week, so that to help some of you avoid certainly some of the surprises and shocks that I've had to sort of deal with, particularly in the last sort of few months, as I sort of realised how much of a significant change and how much of a significant impact all those changes have made. So the first one really, you might find that currently, say for example, I work in IT, so a lot of the time I was buying an awful lot of computer magazines and buying a lot of IT related like books and other literature. What you'll find is that you'll be walking through a supermarket and going past a sort of like the newsstand, and somehow your eye will be drawn to this month's Runner's World. Basically, you are going to become a bit of or you will likely become a bit of an obsessive. You will start reading Runner's World magazine. You will start reading Run for Your Life. You will start spotting bargains in the local bookshop for sort of like running related biographies, autobiographies, and so on and so forth. You'll probably also, if you're an online Amazon or Kindle type shopper, then you'll start spotting the latest releases there to do with ultra marathons and stories about famous marathons, famous runners, and that kind of thing. So just be warned, if you So if you're currently in IT, or you like reading, like say Woman's Weekly, or sort of gossip magazines, or sort of like TV magazines and all those kind of things, at some stage you will suddenly realise that your 99% of your reading is now running and fitness related. I mean, I even pick up the free fitness sort of magazine that is available in the Jets gym every couple of months and actually read it. And I don't think too many people do that. So yeah, that's one thing that you'll that will take you by surprise. Then I guess another one is the issue of probably comes from the reading. Really, you do an awful lot of reading online, and so you start doing lots of research around running and fitness, and you start finding out about things like sort of you'll hear about the ITB. Runners are always scared of having ITB issues, and being particularly the good runners are scared of being laid off for extended periods of time because of things like that. And you'll read words like piriformis, and you'll hear people talking about things like plantar fasciitis, which is basically, I think, to do with the feet. You get shin splints is probably the biggest one that probably the first one you'll hear about and read about. Every time you get a small twinge, every time you get a little niggle or a little pain, okay, you will experience runner's hypochondria. You will become a bit of a hypochondriac. You will be convinced at the end of every single run that every little niggle, every little pain, every little ache is either shin splints, plantar fasciitis, ITB, or sometimes piriformis. Even if it's a headache, you'll probably be trying to blame shin splints. It's just, I don't know, it seems, and then you'll be online, you'll be on Facebook posting and worrying about it, and then you'll be doing research, and the research will be confirming that that you probably do have what you think you have, and then you'll be you'll just develop a state of panic, and you'll think you're going to be taking a month off. Most of the time you're probably not. There is a little bit of seriousness in this. I mean, if you do have little niggles and little pains, then do take it easy. But don't let the research, don't let sort of like Dr. Google convince you that your running career is about to come to a crashing end, and you're going to be sort of sat on the couch reading about running for the rest of your life. But it is something that you find yourself. Well, I certainly find myself doing research, and I find it amusing when sometimes reading other people that also doing the research and worrying themselves unnecessarily. So now, talking about the runners, probably a third one to look out for is the old TMI, too much information, and runners' secrets. What you'll find is you'll experience things that you never quite, body wise particularly body wise that you just didn't expect. Now, the two main ones for me is, and I mentioned on the blog once about not expecting to have to be going out and buying a big pot of petroleum jelly, a big tub of like Vaseline or generic sort of brand equivalent. That because when you do any running for any sort of duration or any sort of length of time, your nipples get sore, and there's no other way of saying it. I mean, basically, the first time it happened to me, I just didn't know what to think. I thought maybe running was making me incredibly excited, but I just didn't expect to get soreness and at the on the chest, and again, sort of a bit of research sort of introduced me to the concept of using Band-Aids or Vaseline or sort of some sort of anti-chafing product like Body Glide, but it will take you by surprise. But also, I think probably more surprising is the number of conversations that you can have about it. Particularly, well, no, not particularly, but it's with other runners. I mean, you probably want to avoid talking about these issues with non-runners because they'll probably just look at you and think you're weird. They'd probably think you're weird for running anyway. But and then one of the other main ones for me was, again, when you get into doing extended sessions, and I sort of read into it, and it's to do with the fact that after a certain amount of time, your body starts burning protein. It's basically protein to provide energy rather than carbohydrates. I don't know this stuff, but it is to do with burning protein. It's a smell, basically a smell in your shirt, basically the smell in your sweat. It's an ammonia smell. And the first time I smelt it, it took me by surprise. I thought I couldn't believe it. I thought, I didn't know what was going wrong. I actually thought there was something wrong, and it was maybe something I needed to go and see my doctor about and whatever. Again, a little bit of research, and you find out that it is this reason that because your body starts burning proteins and your body starts doing this, that, and the other. It is perfectly normal, and fortunately, I don't think I've really noticed it in the last sort of 6 months, because I think probably because I'm doing most of my running all my running outdoors, and I only go to the gym once a week. I think I noticed it more when I was working out inside. That said, I think maybe as well the body probably, again, I'm not fully knowledgeable on all this. I haven't done all the Google research I need to, but I imagine the body probably adjusts at some point and starts getting used to, starts being able to burn some of your fats. Obviously your food, if you're paying attention to what you're eating, you're paying attention to drinking plenty of water, and all that kind of stuff, then somehow your body composition will change, and the way that your body reacts will change. But so basically stinky shirts after the smell of ammonia, sore nipples, and other kind of bodily things that provide interesting conversations at a post-run coffee. But there'll be things that you'll be talking about, and you'll be surprised that you're talking about. Like, I'm shocked that I'm doing a video about them. Now, kind of related, I mentioned water before. That was the other thing. One of the big things that I did when I first started the health and fitness, even before the running, was to basically drink plenty of water every day. Now, everybody tells you that you should drink, it's like 8 glasses of water a day, or whatever it is, whichever particular article you read. But generally, drinking more water is good for you. Drinking more water has a very profound effect. I mean, I found that it gave me, switching from drinking energy drinks to lots of water, basically gave me more energy than energy drinks ever did. What they don't tend to tell you in these articles is more water in equals a need to get more water, and you're not gonna sweat it all out. You will be going to the loo far more than you ever have. Again, your body sort of gets used to it a little bit, but certainly in the early days you find that it's not just the fact that you go more often, it's the fact that you need to plan it more. Like in my case, I use public transport. I've got about an hour's bus ride to and from work, and in the early days, I have been caught short a couple of times, and I've had to get off the bus at a stop well before my home, find a public loo, and then wait for the next bus to come along. I'm like, again, this is maybe under the runner's too much information section as well, but these things happen, and they take you unawares. The other thing with that water and bladder obsession is it comes in on race days as well. You actually start, and I plan part of my build up, part of my event day sort of like routine is designed in such a way that I will avoid unscheduled sort of pit stops while I'm out sort of like doing a 10k, 20k, whatever. You start building in things like I read somewhere once that basically you should keep well hydrated, obviously all the time, keep hydrated on the morning of the race, but basically stop drinking water an hour before. And I've built that in, that works for me. But you do find that you start making those kind of considerations, and those sort of things start creeping into your thinking and your planning. So yeah, that's something else that you probably, if you're in the early stages of a running career as such, that you may not actually realise that it's going to be a major part of your life at some point. Now, some of the other things that happen, I think, when you get into running is maybe you're looking for a new job or a new house, or just going somewhere for the first time, or you're planning a holiday. You will start looking at locations in a completely different light. Instead of maybe, I mean, you will still think, oh, no, if it's a holiday, you go, oh, this is a great place, and there's this place, it's like 2 minutes from the beach, or it's got a pool, or it's near somebody's local. All those thoughts will still be there. But what you'll find is that you'll suddenly be, you'll find yourself saying and thinking things like, "Ooh, there's a nice hill nearby. I can get my hill repeats done," or that looks like a nice spot to go for a bit of a sort of a 5K recovery run, or oh, that's handy. It's got some nice streets and only 5 minutes away from a little bit of a trail run. You will start viewing the world through different eyes. You will start assessing locations for their suitability for running, and for the quality and type of experience that it might give you as a runner. Again, I mean, particularly for somebody like me, after a lifetime of mostly avoiding health and fitness activity, and certainly avoiding running, and having this long-standing sort of hate relationship with running, to suddenly find that you start viewing the world as basically you start viewing the world as your personal gym, and everywhere you go gets assessed against whether if you're going to be going somewhere, you might even find yourself on Google Maps and trying to figure out where you could do a sort of a 10k run that weekend, or these are the kind of crazy things that you're going to be doing. So watch out for that one. Then in terms of, I guess, also fits in with the idea, the way you look at the world, is if you're into doing any kind of people watching at the moment, or even if you're not, you'll certainly start people watching, but your people watching will change, and what you'll find you'll probably end up doing fairly quickly, especially as you start reading about it online and thinking about how these things are within yourself. You'll be looking at other people that are running. Now, there's on several levels. First of all, if you're not running yourself, if you're sat on a bus, sat on a taxi, or you happen to be just sat in a meeting somewhere and you look out the window and you see somebody running, you will be jealous. You'll wish that you were there, and you'll wish that you were at, instead of being sat where you are, you'll wish that you were at on a run at the moment. So that's the first thing. But you'll be looking at these people. You'll be looking at these people, and you'll be looking at their running form and critiquing their running form and their gait, and then comparing it to yours, and then trying to work out if yours is better or if theirs is better. Certainly, I know that I always at lunchtime would see people running up through the terrace in Perth, and people that were obviously very at ease with running and looked like they were just bouncing and floating along, and just wishing that my running felt as comfortable and as floaty and natural as theirs did. But I mean, it goes beyond that. You'll be as you start reading more of these books and magazines and learning more about the technical aspects, you'll be seeing that in other people, and you'll be spotting their flaws, and you'll be spotting what they're doing right, and thinking about incorporating that into yours. And then, I mean, there's one that I had this morning. I was actually on the bus this morning, so literally probably about 20 minutes ago or so, where I just happened to see a guy out running. I was a little bit jealous because I haven't had my run this morning yet. And I spotted, for some reason, I just spotted that he had these purple shoes on with bright orange laces. Now, I just happened to be looking online lately and really bemoaning the fact that some of the men's shoes are just a little bit boring in terms of colour, because you look at some of the colour combinations of the shoes that are out there, but then you look at a lot of the men's collections, and they tend to be a bit muted compared to some of the ladies' shoes. And this guy had these really nice shoes, and I had this brief moment of shoe envy, which was just that one caught me by surprise, because I've never experienced that before. And that sort of leads into my final one. From a personal point of view, probably until 6 months ago, I always had this. My attitude and my wardrobe reflected this fact that you basically need one pair of black shoes which would suit for work. And would suit for basically formal occasions, going to things like weddings and nights out and that kind of thing. You basically need one pair of trainers, which would get you through, wear with jeans or with shorts or whatever. And I think because I was since I've been living in Australia, basically one pair of sandals or thongs, or flip flops, as they say elsewhere. Basically for your sort of hanging around the backyard type, or going to the beach and just really informal wear, going to a barbie and whatever. But that would be it. One pair of black shoes, one pair of trainers, and possibly sandals or thongs. That was it. That's all a man needed, certainly, and that sort of minimalist approach generally would probably work with females as well. I know that obviously it can be a little bit different. I now own about 3 million pairs of running shoes. Maybe not quite that many, but it feels sometimes like I own about 3 million pairs of running shoes. I not only own lots of running shoes, I know and can explain the purpose for each pair. There's a trail pair, and there's a pair that I'm breaking in that eventually will be my long, slow distance shoes, and there's a pair that I wear mostly for my speed work, and there's a pair that the sort of long standing I keep for that I'm really comfortable with, that I keep for actual race days and things like that. So you start having this incredibly sort of almost obsessive relationship with shoes. And that translates to going online and finding shoes for sale. Spending a lot of time just if you're out shopping, just happening to spot bargains for shoes, and also it extends from shoes to running shirts in my case, and singlets and shorts and other running apparel. So basically, even if you're like me, and you're currently somebody who thinks, basically I need one pair of jeans, a couple of t-shirts, one pair of black shoes, one pair of trainers, and maybe a pair of thongs. As soon as you really start getting into your running, be prepared to need more space in your wardrobe, more space in your more drawer space, and that's basically going to be for your running shirts, your shorts, your compression shorts, and you probably need to make space for all those books you're going to buy, space for your gel, space for your protein recovery powders, and then masses and masses of space for all those shoes. And so on that note, I did say it was the dark side of fitness and running. There are some sort of elements of danger in there, really, I guess, but it was overall mostly light-hearted. Running will open up the world in lots of different ways. Your perspectives will change, not only in terms of those mindset changes we spoke about before, but your life will change in terms of some of your consumer choices. Have fun with it. Enjoy all those new experiences, and most of all, enjoy buying those shoes. And I'll speak to you again next week, when I'll be probably saying Happy Christmas early. In the meantime, have a good week, and I'll see you on Facebook, and I'll see you on the website. See ya.